Hey guys, today we are going to take a little break from FILET crochet and we're going to bring it back to the basics with another crochet scrunchie tutorial. These are my favorite hair accessories, so it was about time that I share my new favorite way to crochet scrunchies. This is the second scrunchie tutorial I have on my channel, and this tutorial is perfect for those who like the oversized look but aren't into ruffles and want something that feels a bit more classic in style. Now for materials. If you're going to use a crochet thread or lace, which means anything of a weight 0, you're going to want to have 84 grams of this material. You're also going to want to have a smaller hook size to go along with it. I used a 3.25mm hook. If you have something other than that, that is fine. You're also going to need a hair tie. You're going to want to have a darning needle, a pair of scissors, a tape measure, and a rocking playlist. As usual, this tutorial won't have any background music, so you can play your favorite songs as you work on this project. I don't know about you, but I love to crochet with a good song or a movie in the background. Don't worry, you will hear my lovely voice, just no music. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this with your friends. Now let's go ahead and get into this tutorial. To start off this project, you're first going to make a chain that is 6 inches long. Now that my chain is roughly 6 inches long, I'm going to chain an additional 3 chains, and then I'm going to double crochet into the 4th chain from my hook. So count your way over to your 4th chain and then put 1 double crochet into that chain. Then you're going to go ahead and put 1 double crochet into every chain down your row. Once you've made it to the end of your row, you can go ahead and work your way into row 2 by chaining 3, turning your work, skipping the very first stitch of this row because this chain 3 belongs to this first stitch. So then you're going to go ahead and you're going to work 1 double crochet into the 2nd stitch. So we skip this one, double crochet into the next. As well as 1 double crochet into every stitch along the remainder of your row. Now, if you would like your scrunchie to be a solid color, then you're just going to repeat the steps of row 2 until you have a piece that is 30 inches long. And if you would like to change colors, you can just chain 1 at the end of your row, grab a pair of scissors and cut off a tail. Pull your work through the loop and then tighten off. And then you can just start from the very first stitch of your row, inserting your hook into that stitch. Then you can just grab your new yarn and attach it onto the very first stitch. And then if you wanted to start off with a row of double crochets because you want to keep everything the same, then you would just chain 3 from here. Make sure that you crochet over your tail ends. Then you would go into the next stitch and do 1 double crochet. And you would just repeat that along the length of your work. Now you can swap out your colors as many times as you want. Here's an example of what I did for one. I did every single row a different color. I mean, you can do this. It requires a little bit of patience and you're gonna have a lot more ends that you need to weave in at the end, but as you can see, it gives you a really pretty result. But you also have the option to alternate between doing single crochets and double crochets. So for this one, I have a mixture of single crochets and double crochets, and it creates really interesting, intricate striped patterns. So for whatever colors you have and whatever design you want, you're just going to keep repeating these steps of either single crochets and double crochets in different colors back and forth until you have a 30-inch long piece. So I'm going to keep going and I will meet you guys back once my piece is 30 inches long. If you wanted to do a striped pattern for your scrunchie and you didn't necessarily know what to do or how to go about it, here are a few stripe patterns, and then I took the liberty of writing down the steps that you would do to create those patterns. So please use this as a reference if you need some help with this portion. You know, we want our scrunchies to be cute, so go ahead and follow this if you so choose. If not, go ahead and do your own thing, and then I'll catch up with you guys at the next step. Okay, so I just finished my 30 rows. This is incredibly long, as you can see here, and I did not cut off my yarn because I'm going to use this yarn and just continue on for the next step. But this should measure 30 inches for you. I will put measurements of length and width in both inches and centimeters in the description, so you can go back and refer to that. And as you can see, I just did 2 rows of double crochets for each color to create this very fluid pattern. Before we bring in our elastic, we are going to do something about these little straggly ends here. Now, if you want to take the lazy route, you can probably just leave them there because this is going to be on the inside of your scrunchie. So if you're not too concerned with any of these popping through, then you can go ahead and move straight into the next step. But if you would like to have this be very neat, you are going to want to weave in your ends. Now, as you can see, none of my ends are sitting on the actual edge because I tried to weave them in as I went along to save me a little bit of a headache along the way. But one extra thing that I personally like to do is, let me grab it. So to alleviate myself of being stressed about any of my work ever coming undone, I use a fraying adhesive, and I just take this fabric glue, and what I do is I just go along as close to the where the yarn is coming out of, and I put a small little dot. Okay, that one wasn't so small, but okay. I put a small little dot of fabric glue there, and then I just push down my work and I let it dry, and then I go back and I cut off as close to where the fabric glue is on all of these pieces, and that's just how I'm positive that my work isn't going to come undone, nor do I have to worry about any ends popping through on the other side at any point of the life of my project. So that's something you can do. Feel free to do it. You don't have to. The choice is yours. I am going to do it. So I'll do this step and then I will show you guys what we do next. So now we are going to take our work and we're going to put it around our elastic. So I like to go ahead and just take my work, and I'm going to slowly but surely add more of it onto my scrunchie. I'm just doing this so that way it's not too overwhelming for you guys to look at. But let me move this. So I'm taking my work. This is the good side. I'm folding it in, and then I'm taking my elastic and I'm putting it over one side of my scrunchie, and then the side where I still have my yarn attached is going to fall on the other side of the elastic. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my hook again, and I'm going to go through the very first double crochet, like the side of it on this first half, and then I'm gonna pick up the other half. Again, my scrunchie is just hanging on here kind of awkwardly for right now, but that's okay. I'm gonna go into the first double crochet on the side of the bar on the second side of my piece, pull up a loop, yarn over, and then pull through both of those loops. So we're just basically doing a double crochet into the very first double crochet, or I'm sorry, we're doing 2 single crochets into the side of every double crochet stitch we have on either ends of our work down along the row. So that was 1 single crochet, and then I'm going to go ahead and do another single crochet. Then I'm going to move over to the next double crochet here, and I'm going to reach and grab that one. Then I'm going to reach on the other end and grab that double crochet, and I'm going to single crochet over both of them 2 times. One more time, I'm going to grab this first double crochet around the whole double crochet bar, reach on the other side, grab the other double crochet, and single crochet over both of them. And then once again, single crochet over both of them. And what's going to end up happening is as we go down our line, we're going to, here, let me move this so it doesn't get too noisy. So what's going to end up happening as we continue to single crochet this side shut is we're going to take our elastic and we're going to keep moving it down. And our work is going to scrunch up at some point, but that's okay. We want that to happen because what's essentially going to happen is we're going to end up with a nice circular piece with our ends closed up, and then we'll just have like one opening right at the top here on either end that will close up after that, but we'll have a really cute like scrunchie at that point. So this part, it just requires a little bit of patience, and you can stretch your elastic as you go, which I'm getting all tangled up here. But you can stretch out your elastic as you go to help you get your ends together and make sure that you're seaming them up nicely. But go ahead and just keep repeating that. You got a long ways to go, but I'll meet you guys at the other end. Okay, so I made it all the way to the other end. Now how I'm going to end off is by chaining one. I'm gonna cut my yarn and leave a long tail. Then I'm going to pull that long tail all the way through. And then we are going to flip our work, I don't want to say inside out, right side out, because currently the outside is facing. So you're just going to go ahead and take one end, and you're going to take your time, slowly but surely pulling your work through until it's completely flipped. Now this is what your work should look like facing with the correct side out. And now what we're going to do is we're going to grab our tapestry needle or darning needle. Take your darning needle and attach your yarn onto the tapestry needle. And now all we have to do is close up these two ends. I'm going to be taking one end and lining it up with the other. I didn't think about this when I was picking out this burgundy color, so apologies for that. I'm gonna try and make sure that you guys are able to see this as well as possible. But you see these little stitches from, there we go, from our last, or from my last row of the burgundy here. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go into one side of the V. So I'm gonna pick up one side of my V stitch here. And I'm gonna go up and into that, and I'm gonna pull my tail end through. And then I'm gonna go to the other side, and this is from our foundation chain, so there is no V, there's just that one loop. And I'm just gonna go down and reach into that loop and pull my yarn all the way through. And then you can tighten off. So again, moving into the next one, let me try to make this as visible as possible for you guys. So here I have my next V stitch, and I'm going to go into the side of the V that's closest to me, reach up and through that, pull my yarn all the way through. Then I'm going to go ahead and reaching down, go into the very next loop from my foundation chain and pull that all the way through. And you can pull nice and tautly, and that'll create like a nice clean finish. But I'm going to do that all the way around the perimeter of my scrunchie until this hole here is fully closed up. So I'll keep repeating that and meet you guys back once I'm done with this step. I finished seaming up the two ends, and as you can see, you can't really tell the difference. And now all that's left to do is just secure it with a knot. So what I like to do is I just reach back into where I was working at and then wrap my yarn a little bit around my darning needle, and then slowly but surely, so this doesn't get tangled, I pull to create a knot at the base. Then from there, what I do is I just weave in this tail end back and forth a little bit to hide and disguise the color. In with the rest of my work, I'm going back in with my fraying fabric glue. I'm going to put a little dot. Oops, that doesn't look so little, but that's okay. Put a little dot there, clean up the excess, and then usually I let it dry, but just for the sake of this tutorial, I'll just go ahead and cut it now. And there you go. That is how you make your very own scrunchie. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I have another scrunchie tutorial. If you have yet to check that out and you're into ruffles, definitely make sure that you give that one a go. But in the meantime, I hope you enjoy your scrunchies. If you make any, I would love to see what colors and patterns you guys came up with. And in the meantime, make sure you're subscribed, give this video a like, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye-bye.